Hi my lovely Frosty fam, it's me, Karen Frost, here at Nail Decadence. Long time no speak. Let's get the housekeeping stuff out of the way and explain to you why I have not been on YouTube, and also why my video for Tuesday did not go up. There's good explanations. So first off, why have I been gone for 4 or 5 months? I have been extremely poorly. I'm not going to go into too much detail. You all know already that I'm not a healthy person, that I have disabilities and illnesses, and I suffer terribly with pain, etc. What basically happened in a nutshell is after I had COVID, and I had long COVID, it triggered something within my immune system that sort of kind of made my body shut down, and it meant that I just couldn't do anything. I couldn't function. I was on a hell of a lot of morphine, so my thoughts were clouded as well. It was just a really bad time, and it took me a while to get my muscles moving again and come off such a high dose of morphine. That took time as well. It's just been a nightmare. So I was ready to return. I was feeling much better, and I was like, yeah, I'm ready to return to YouTube. I'll put up a video on Tuesday, it'll be grand. And then I got the most devastating phone call on Monday regarding a very close family member, and it shook my world. The family obviously had to rally, and it's been a really hard time. The prognosis isn't good, so the next few weeks are going to be hard. But I made a promise to this person, and they made me promise that I would start my YouTube up again and live life to as full as I can. Obviously they know I have health issues, but they made me promise to not go into a bad deep depression over them, and to carry on basically. And so that is what I'm doing. I am keeping my promise, and I love them very much, and I wish this wasn't happening, and I'm devastated, but I'm gonna keep trucking on and keep my promise. So that's why I've not been around. So I'm sorry, my Frosty fam, that I've neglected you, but I've had a lot going on, and I'm sorry the video didn't go up on Tuesday, but as you now know, there is a very valid reason why. So anyhow, let's move on to what I'm doing in the video, shall we? I'm doing a reverse French, but I'm using this cutting tool, which just so cool. If you are having trouble with your smile lines by sculpting it with your brush, these little tools work wonders, and they come in all different shapes. You can get like a chevron smile line shape, you can get a more narrow, deeper smile line shape. This is just the standard French shape. So yeah, they're very inexpensive. You can get them from eBay, AliExpress, Amazon, wherever. So yeah, if you're having trouble getting your smile lines even and across the board looking similar, then consider getting one of these tools. As you can see, it makes doing smile lines very easy. So the way I do it is I do my smile line in 2 beads. So I put 1 bead down first, get that down to the length I'm going for, or just a bit further than what I'm going for, and then I will put the second bead by the cuticle area, get that nice and neat, and by the time I've done that, it's normally time for me to press into the acrylic. You don't want to press into the acrylic too soon, because if it's too soft, it won't hold its shape, but you don't want to wait till it's too hard, because obviously then it won't cut. And I made a bit of a boo-boo on this little finger, so I'm just rectifying that. I've got a little bit of a gap on the side, so I'm just filling that in. But I'm not going to file these smile lines in because there's no need to. When you use that cutting tool, it makes the lines really quite sharp, so I didn't see it necessary to file them at all. I'm just tidying up this one on the little finger because I made a bit of a mess of it. I'm just making sure it's nice and neat. Just get rid of any of those little bits that are hanging on the tip, and any bits that need to be tidied up with my brush, I will do so. So I'll let those set up. Well, I'm going to cap them first. So I haven't built my wall very high yet, and you guys know I like to cap everything in clear acrylic. I like to build my strength with my clear rather than my colours. So I'm going to, and I also like the appearance of the clear over the top. For me, it just gives that lovely glass finish, and I just like the look of it. So I'm going to add my clear for my strength, but I'm going to make sure that I don't go over to the edge of my wall, because if I get any of that clear around the edge of my wall, what will happen is then when I butt my colour up to it, there'll be a gap of clear. You don't want that, so be very careful when you're capping like this to just only cap on the top and not over the edge of the wall. That way you won't have any gap in between your colour and your nail bed. I'll just check that from the side, make sure I've got enough clear acrylic onto the little finger. Same again, cap that. So bring my get my cuticle area nice and neat, and then bring that bead down towards the very end of that wall, but not going over it and not getting any of the clear onto the edge. We don't want that. Tidy that up with my brush, leave that alone, let that set up, and then I'll move on to the ring finger. I'm doing sort of a geometric pattern on this finger, so I'm starting off with the very bright neon yellow. Isn't it awesome? It's so bright. So I'm just making a sort of geometric shape with that sort of circular type of shape. Get the cuticle area nice and neat. Now this is very, very thin. I'm not going to bother filing it. I'm just going to make it as tidy as I can with my brush. I'm not going to bother filing it in. So I'll just get that shape as neat as I can with my brush, and then I'm going to add some of the very fine neon yellow glitter over the top using a very small bead of clear acrylic. Again, make sure that cuticle area is nice and neat. Add as much glitter as I like, which is always loads, of course. And then I'll move on. Now I'm just using a very thin wash of the black acrylic, so that because I'm going to be using the glitter, that black, neon pink and neon yellow glitter mix. I'm going to be using that in this section. So I'm just using a very thin wash of the black acrylic, so that if there's any gaps in the glitter, you won't notice it so much. So now that I've mapped out that section, I will add my glitter on top. Again, use very tiny wet beads of clear acrylic to pick up your glitter. You're not trying to build any bulk. You want to keep this as flat and as thin as possible, so that you've got a good margin to cap with your clear acrylic. That way you know that you won't file into any of your glitter. So keep it as thin as you can get it, really. Don't build any bulk with it, and make sure you pat all of your glitters nice and flat, that they're not sticking up on their sides or anything, because you don't want to file into them. I'm going to faff around adding glitter, and faff, you know what I'm like, putting as much glitter as I possibly can, filling in as many gaps as I can. You know what I'm like. I'm gonna faff around when it comes to glitter, getting all my pieces the way I want them to sit. Whilst I'm doing that, how are you? I hope you are all doing well. You must have done a load of things in the last 4 to 5 months. I've got so much to catch up on. I tried to have a look at Facebook, and there's just so much going on that I haven't a clue about, so it's going to take me a while to get back into the old social media, kind of being social again. not quite fully ready for it all yet, but I'm just sort of, now and again I'll have a look. I didn't look at it yesterday at all, but I might have a little peek on Facebook today, see what's going on. It's hard when you've been away for so long. You kind of get out of touch of everything, but I mean, I'll get there. It's just going to take time, and I am going to take my time with this. I'm not going to rush into anything. I will try and get 2 videos a week out if I can, but if I can't, please forgive me. I will do my best to try though. So as you can see on the middle finger, I've done the same sort of black wash, very thin layer of black acrylic on the tip area, and then same again, adding that glitter mix over the top, nudging those glitter bits where I want them to speak, Karen, where I want them to go, and making sure they are patted nice and flat, because again, we're not building bulk here, we are just making a layer of pretty, which we will cap with clear acrylic for strength and to lock all those glitters nice and neatly, tidily away. If any of the glitter goes over the edge, just use your brush to just nudge them back onto the nail. But if they hang over, it's not the end of the world, you'll just file that away, no big deal. Make sure it's right up the wings so that you've got a nice neat smile line. And try and fill in all the gaps, which is what I'm doing, but it's not the end of the world if there are gaps, because that's the whole point of putting the black underneath. Onto the index finger, and I'm going to use the neon pink, and as you can see, I put that first bead right up at that wall and pulled the bead back up the wings, and it doesn't matter if I go over the top, because remember, we already capped that in clear acrylic, so it doesn't matter what goes over the top, will get filed away to reveal a lovely neat smile line. So I'm not building any strength, I'm making this quite thin, and I will be capping that in clear for strength, of course, because like I said, you know me, I'll cap everything. I'm doing the same thing on the little finger, but using the neon yellow instead. Oh, silly bit of glitter got in there then. I've got another bit of glitter that I'm trying to get out there. Oh, so annoying, get off. Made a right mess there, so I'm going to have to add another bead to tidy that up. Not the end of the world. Again, making sure that that colour is right up those wings. You don't want a gap there, it will look a bit weird. So yeah, try and make sure it's right up the wings. And you see where I'm using my brush to pat the sides and the edge to try and keep the nail in shape as much as possible, so that there's less filing to do. The less filing the better, of course. So I just dampened down that pink area to add my clear acrylic over the top. It just helps the acrylic just slide over and sit nicely. So I'm not adding too much acrylic. You see, I've added, it's a fairly large bead, but not too big, and just enough to give me the strength I need to cap that free edge. Make sure you brush it back up to those wings, make sure they're nice and encapsulated, turn it to the side, make sure it's the right thickness. If you need to add any more acrylic you can, but it seems that I've done enough with that one, so I'll leave that alone. Onto the middle finger, I will cap that free edge again, but this time my bead is a little bit wetter, because a wetter bead just helps the acrylic settle and seep into all the little cracks a bit better, and you're less likely to get air pockets or air bubbles that way. And you can always then add a normal consistency bead over the top if necessary, if you've not been able to make it the right thickness by using a wetter bead. So I'm just putting some in the wings there, making sure I've got enough. And you see I stop and I look, and the tip wasn't quite thick enough, so I just added another bead, and then I'll stop and look and make sure, and it still needs a little bit more. So look down the barrel, look from the sides, make sure that everything is the right thickness, because you've got to account for your filing margin. So your overall nail will be thicker until you file it, and then it will be the right thickness, if that makes sense. So you're adding just a smidge more acrylic than needed, so that you've got a little bit of a margin to file into. That's what that's how I do it anyway. If I do it exactly the thickness I want the final nail to be when I file, I'm going to end up with a nail that's too thin, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's how I do it. Again, looking at that nail from all different angles, swiping the sides, trying to keep the shape, and then I will let that set up, move on to the ring finger and encapsulate all of those lovely glitter pieces. Again, a slightly wetter bead so that it seeps in, and then I'll add as many beads as I need to build up the correct thickness and strength. Make sure my apex is in the back third and that I've got a nice strong nail. I've just added another bead to the middle there, bringing that down, and you'll see I'm just looking at it down the barrel, making sure the nail is even. I'm just working my way down from cuticle to tip, adding the acrylic as I go. And you see these beads are smaller and wetter, so that I know that it's going to seep into the glitters nicely. Checking down the sides, using my brush to shape the acrylic and push it where I want it to go. Like I say, always look from every angle, and then I'll look at all of the nails together, make sure they're all similar thickness and a similar width, and if I need to add any more acrylic I will, which I needed there, just a smidge on that edge there wasn't enough, so I just added a little bit more, and then we can move on to the filing. Yes, filing time. Are you a Frosty filing freak? I know you're out there. So I left the filing in for my Frosty filing freaks, but please feel free to skip along to that timestamp in the corner of the screen if you're not interested in filing. But for my Frosty filing freaks, here we go. So I'm going to use my E-file to file along that smile line and shape it and reveal that crisp smile line. I'm going to do that on all of the nails with a smile line. So I'm just debulking, just revealing the smile line essentially. I decided to do, oh, I forgot I did it this way. Okay, we're doing all the nails. So I'm just debulking and generally reshaping just a little bit with this E-file bit, and then I'll switch. You'll see in a minute. Reveal that smile line. Doesn't that look nice and neat? Isn't that little tool's just wonderful? You know, I've had it in my drawer for the longest time, and I finally decided to use it. I haven't used it in I don't know how long. I don't think I've ever used it on a video before, actually. No, I don't think I have. Anywho, I've switched to my hand file now, and I'm going to file the sidewalls, and as you can see, I'm doing one side first of all. So I go underneath the free edge and I rotate my file up and file the sidewalls on each nail first. Then I will, and once I reach the little finger, then I'll do the opposite side and the free edge, get that nice and straight and sharp. You see, it's not taking too much filing. You can see the shape comes out quite quickly. There wasn't a lot of filing to do on these, which I was really quite pleased about. Makes my life not a lot easier, and because they're not super long nails, it's a lot quicker for me to file. So file that opposite side, but I'm also checking and seeing how it looks overall as well. So if I need to file the other side a little bit more, I will. So always stop and look and compare. You see, I stop and I compare it to the other nails to make sure they're all a similar sort of shape. Now I'm going to use this very narrow bit to just whiz around that cuticle area a little bit, get that nice and flush and neat. It's not too much to do, a little bit more to do on this finger because of the glitter, but not, you know, tremendous amount of filing to do. And then I can use my sanding band to go over the entire surface, smoothing as I go. See, not a lot of filing to do really, was there? Not bad, eh? So yeah, I'll just go over the entire nail. I'll look at it from all different angles, make sure it's nice and neat. And you saw there where I just brushed my thumb down to make sure I didn't feel any lumps. If I'd have felt a lump, I would have obviously continued filing a little bit more. Just making sure those side walls are nice and neat and any bits of glitter are dealt with. Sanding band's good for that. I love my sanding bands. Any of my Frosty Fam know I love my sanding bands. They do so much, and it smooths the nail really nicely. You can actually get away with just using a sanding band and not a buffer if you like. You know, you can still buff afterwards if you want to. I do a lot of the time, but yeah, you can actually get away with just using your sanding band and not buffing the nail. It's really cool. I like sanding bands. So I'll whiz over the surface of the nail. See, I go around the cuticle area and then I do the body of the nail. Stop and look and make sure that the nail is nice and even from sidewall to sidewall, that I've got a lovely curve, that from the side I've got my nice curve of my arch going up from the cuticle area, reaching my apex and then sloping back down towards the free edge. Always stop and look, compare all nails together, but also look at each nail individually, and that's how you get a cohesive set that is, you know, uniform. And that's what we strive for, a uniform set of nails. So just do the same on the little finger. Nearly finished with the filing now, almost there. Whiz whiz whiz. You see, I'm just what do you call it, making sure there's no harsh edge from where I filed in the sidewalls. You want to blend that edge in so that there's not a straight, you know, line with an actual corner on it. You don't want that. You want it to be nice and curved. And here we go. After I've removed all of the dust, this is what they look like. Nice and smooth and ready for top coating. But first of all, I will be adding some gems. So I'm using the SPD London Diamond Gel as usual because this stuff is amazing. I love it. Check out SPD London. The details are in the description box below if you want any products from there. I do highly recommend them, especially this diamond gel. So I'm just going to put on some neon crystals and some black crystals just to, I don't know, I thought it would work. I thought it went, and I really did like it because the, you know, the glitter is, you know, kind of like circle shaped, and I just thought these crystals would set it off a little bit, just make it even more sort of 80s. Yeah, I like it. I don't know if you guys are into the neon 80s style, but I liked it. So get those crystals where I want them to go, and then I will flash cure that in the lamp for 10 seconds just to hold them in place whilst I top coat. So now it's time to top it off and keep it tough. Oh yes, time to reveal, and here we go. So I will top coat around the crystals, never over them, because they will lose their facets and that will make them no longer shine and reflect the light. You need the facets, and that's how you get them to sparkle. Not that, I mean, neon ones don't really sparkle like sort of AB ones do, but you know what I mean. You still want them to sparkle. And look at that, isn't that glitter wonderful? Oh, love it. So yes, that is it for the video. You know, top coating, revealing those smile lines. And yeah, so if you don't have one of those little tools, I highly recommend getting one. It will, especially if you struggle with your smile lines. Oh, and I just use a small detailer brush to go around the crystals and the cuticle area, make sure it's nice and neat, and to seal those crystals in nicely. It kind of just sort of shrink wraps them. Anyway, so that is all I've got for this time, peeps. I will be back soon with another video, hopefully on Tuesday for you. So yeah, that's all I've got for this time, peeps. Thank you ever so much for watching. Thank you for coming to my channel. I appreciate you ever so much. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. Join the Frosty Fam. I would love to have you, and the more Frosty Fam members we have, the more fun we can have. So yes, please join us. We're not a cult. Anywho, you take care now, peeps, and I will speak to you all again soon. Bye for now. It's good to be back. And thank you to everybody who sent me well wishes and checked on me whilst I was away. I appreciate you more than you will ever know. I mean, you guys lifted my spirits at a time when I was extremely low. So thank you, my lovely Frosty fam, for all your wonderful support. It's been overwhelming and I can't thank you enough. And thank you for welcoming me back to YouTube. So take care now, peeps. Bye for now.
Someday soon I'm gonna make it.